Hello and welcome to the Discomfort Zone, the show that gets you comfortable with the uncomfortable. This is such an exciting episode because I get deep and personal with Matt. Gemma is not here. She is on her way home from Coppa Feel Trek and she has smashed it. But we do a little cheeky Zoom and we catch up with her while she's on the train. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, drop us a rating, send us comments, and we want to hear everything about you guys also. Enjoy the show! Hi, Jem.
Hey, Jem.
Yeah. Hi.
Miss you.
Okay.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fucked.
Physically fucked? Mentally, emotionally fucked?
Physically fucked. Mentally fucked. I'm so ugly as well, which is why I've got sunglasses on. Honestly, if I eat another protein bar, I'm going to shoot myself in the head.
You've obviously done a lot of talking because your voice is croaky.
Yeah, I'm gone. Completely gone.
Yeah.
I am on the train, so I don't know if it's going to cut out. But, yeah, I'm good. Do you know what? It was the most insane week. I don't even have words to describe it right now. I've got blisters all over my toes, and I've got dodgy tan lines. And I took my hair out, so it's not okay. It got so...
Because you didn't pack the tights with you.
But yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, but even with the tights, it was itching me.
Oh.
So I might lose you because the signal is really bad. I'm somewhere between Doncaster and London. I don't know where I am. I haven't known where I am all week.
While we've got you then, just a little taster of the whole experience. One of the highs, one of the lows?
One of the highs. The highs was probably, I think we climbed like the highest summit in England, and just seeing how many amazing people there were, people that were on treatment, people that were motivated, just me being fucking freezing every night.
But you did it, girl. We're proud of you.
Thank you. I did do it. I did a lot of wild weed on a lot of bushes.
Nice.
You've marked your territory.
And now I'm an expert at weeing in a bush.
You can give us some tips when you're back.
Say I lost you guys.
All right, Gemma, it's great to see you. I know it's hard to reach you right now. So when you come back, we're going to get a full debrief. But
Yeah.
Well done, Gem, and well done to everyone on the hike. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yes, queen.
She did it. And did you win? Did you win, Gem?
I fucking won the race, guys.
Of course you did.
Yeah, literally.
All right, Gem. Loads of love. Well done. Well done to you and everyone on the hike.
See you soon.
Hi, Nadiva. How are you?
Just me and you today.
I know.
We're getting deep and personal.
Because Gemma's still not here.
No, but she's on her way home.
She is.
Yay!
I think Gemma is extremely uncomfortable right now if we're leading into the discomfort zone.
She is. But I'm so proud of her. She's done so well.
She has, and I think we'll get a good debrief when she comes back properly.
For sure.
But
Can't
an
have been
amazing
easy.
thing that she's done.
Well done, Gem, and everyone else that did it. You all smashed it.
We're really proud of you, Gem.
Yes.
But that does leave me and you here without Gemma for today's session.
This is like getting to know each other. I feel like I'm on first dates.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
It's like, okay, I've got questions written down. What am I going to ask him?
Because we
Like
thought
getting to know you.
Getting to know each other. Because we thought actually without Gemma here, you and I have only known each other for 6 weeks, 2 months,
Not long.
something like that.
Yeah.
And we could use this experience to learn more about each other, some of the everyday questions, some of the fitness questions, mental health, and dive a bit deeper. But we wonder whether our listeners as well might be curious to know a bit more. So we've got some deeper questions.
We're all getting deep and personal today, and we're all getting uncomfortable.
And let's get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we thought we might play a game of tennis. Should we do it like that, where I serve you a question and you reply, and then we'll take turns?
Fabulous.
So
Let's go.
should we flip a coin? Do you want to serve first or serve second?
You go first.
Serve to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so my very first question is Nadiva. I've never met anyone called Nadiva before until I've met you. Where does your name come from?
My parents,
Okay.
obviously. So the origin of my name is actually, it's Israeli. And I think my parents just really liked it. Actually, no, there is a story behind it.
Oh, go on.
When my parents just got married, they were in Toronto and they were staying at someone's house because it was their best friend's wedding. And they had a daughter called Nadiva. And my dad turned around to my mum and said, if we ever have a daughter, I like the name. That's what we're going to name her after.
Wow.
So that's the story.
And what does Nadiva mean?
Generous.
Generous.
That's me.
You are?
Although no one calls me that, Nadiva. Like
Generous.
Deeves, D.
Oh, I see.
Nah, I no. Unless I'm in trouble by my parents, then never.
So people reaching out on the podcast and messaging you, what should they say? They should say...
Diva.
Diva.
Yeah.
Okay. Diva. Well, very nice to meet you properly, Nadiva, then.
Yeah.
Deeve.
Deeves. That's what
Deeve.
Gemma calls me.
Deeve.
Deeves. Yeah, I'm a true born wood girl through and through.
Deeves.
Right, your turn. You ready?
Go.
So
Go.
we've had a lot of people who've been listening to our podcast recently, and I have a very important question for you, and also a curious question.
Go on.
Where is your twang from? Because everybody seems to think that you're Australian.
Okay.
Let's explain.
Okay. Okay, so I've heard this before quite a few times, and it's not something
Today, mate.
I'm aware of. I don't think I've got a twang to my voice, but people say I do. I think I sound British, but there is, yeah, okay.
little twang.
But people have said it lots. Straight after undergrad, I went to New Zealand for a very short trip and found a very good reason to stay for a long time. So I ended up staying in New Zealand in the Southern Alps in the mountains for about a year because I met my now wife. That's where I met her. So that
Married a Kiwi.
I married a Kiwi. So what you're hearing is a Kiwi accent, definitely not an Aussie accent. Don't get the two mixed up.
Is there a difference?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
For the New Zealand listeners.
For the non-New Zealand Aussie listeners.
You're going to make me
But you're British people.
Am I going to do pretend accents?
Yeah, what is the difference? Can one hear the difference?
Yeah, I think the Kiwis seem to shorten their vowels and the Aussies open their vowels more.
Oh, we discussed this the other day, Matt and I, and I said there's a really good Michael McIntyre skit about it.
Okay.
I need to send that to you.
And send me that. So yeah, that's why I've been with my wife for 11 years now. I've been with my wife for 11 years, so I think it's got she's infiltrated my British accent and it's taken over. So
is she speaking more posh and you're speaking more Kiwi?
She is. When she goes back to New Zealand, people wonder where she's from because she doesn't sound Kiwi.
That's
Although
hilarious.
to you and me, you would say she sounds Kiwi or Aussie, but don't get that wrong.
No, I would never say to her she sounds Aussie. Your kids, what accent do they have?
Well, my youngest can't talk.
Okay. So the older child, the one child.
My older child, I think British, maybe with a hint of an Essex accent comes through because that's where we're living at the moment, and it definitely comes out from time to time. Yeah.
Proper Essex.
Proper Essex, yeah.
You're right, Dad.
she get she's definitely got, you okay?
Oh,
you okay?
I love that.
You okay? You okay? So yeah, but I think somewhere in the middle, maybe British or Kiwi. Let's hope for that. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so can I go a bit deeper with you, if that's all right? Yeah, prepared. So
I feel like I need a shot for this.
No, I want to know a bit more about your background and how you became a personal trainer.
So, are we going really deep with this?
Oh, wherever you'd like to go. That's where you go.
Before I went on my gap year, which is 18, 19, I was not into fitness at all. I was not eating healthily. I was bigger than what I am now. And there was a stigma back in the day that girls that go on their gap year come back and put on weight, and boys that go on their back year and come back and lose weight. It was just one of these things that was going around our circle. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be that girl that goes on their gap year and puts on shitloads of weight. So wrongly, I did it completely the wrong way, but I somewhat starved myself for a year. Came home. Not fun. Was just drinking, smoking and barely eating. Came home, lost a lot of weight, and then got into the gym. But it took me, I'd say only until about 4 or 5 years ago that I really understood the nutrition side of things, the fitness side of things. I was that girl that would just pound cardio I would go to the gym and just go on the treadmill for about an hour. Never wanted to lift weights, never thought that I could lift weights. I was just like, to lose weight, to remain skinny, cardio, 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 cardio. And then I qualified as a PT, and then I re-educated myself and understood all about nutrition and how to grow muscle. And yeah, and I guess that's where I am now.
Wow.
I know. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
And I'm still probably on that journey. There's a saying that people say that you're a small girl trapped inside a bigger girl's brain. So there's sometimes that I go down that road of, oh no, because we discussed this a few weeks ago in one of our podcasts, and Jem said she wakes up in the morning and she feels amazing and she's so proud of her body. And I looked at her and I was like, I wish I could feel that way. I wish I could be proud. I wish that I could see what other people see. But I think psychologically, I don't always see that. But it's a learning curve, and I'm okay to say that it's an ongoing process. And I think being a personal trainer with my clients who are also going through similar situations, they can relate to me.
Because you've been on that journey.
And I understand what they're going through. I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and I'm still doing it. And I'm still there.
Do they know your journey, your clients?
Yeah, I've put up a lot of transformation pictures over my Instagram and also on NG Fit. And I do talk about it. And the funny thing is, actually, it's interesting that you say that. Any new client that I have, the first thing I'll do is I'll show them that before and after. Because they think, they're like, oh, you must have been fit and into your fitness from
great genetics
early. Yeah,
forever.
I was like, well, I didn't come out as a baby with like muscles. I was like, I promise you I've been down this. They don't believe it. And I show them the picture. They're like, oh my God.
Right.
You were big.
So that really helps them feel like, okay, there's a process.
Because then I understand
process.
it. And also they can see that it's a long process. It doesn't happen overnight. There is no magic wand. If there was a magic wand, I wouldn't have a business. So there is no magic wand, and you have to believe in the process and trust the process, that you will get the results that you want to get to, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Because you talked about a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of, how long then has been this phase of your lifestyle of being focused on health and fitness?
I'd say, so I qualified as a PT 7 years ago. So I'd say probably in 7 years. And
it's your lifestyle. You're still working on this every day.
I'm still doing it. People can criticize and judge and think that you're mad for training the whole time and they don't get it. But this is my lifestyle. Okay. And I'm constantly learning from my clients as well, which is amazing because they're constantly pushing me. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go a bit deeper in a second. So, but I know there's a question. There's a question for me.
It's your turn. All right. Similar idea. What made you want to become a clinical psychologist? Because for those of you that don't know, that is what matters.
I am a clinical psychologist, which I have said in the past what a clinical psychologist is. Maybe we should do that bit very quickly. So a clinical psychologist is it's a professional, it's a type of psychologist who helps people with severe and enduring mental health distress. That's the first part of it. And also people kind of looking for the most out of their lives. But psychology splits in so many different ways. You can have educational psychology, which you help in schools. Yep. Criminal psychology or forensic psychologist, which is working in... Okay, you're interested. I'll tell you a bit about that another time if you're interested, which is not what I do, but I've worked in forensic settings. And then you have experimental psychologists, people in the lab who work out what happens for people and brains and all those different things. So I'm a clinical psychologist, which is a protected title. So you're going to have to work a very long time and do certain things to get it. So that's a clinical psychologist. So why did I become a clinical psychologist? Yeah. Well, I think... hearing about the different types of psychology, I've always been fascinated by people. Did you study
psychology for GCSE A level?
No. I wish back at school, and I don't know if this is a bigger thing, I wish back at school people gave better direction in career choices, because no path is ever straightforward. No. And maybe that's the whole reason. I didn't come to knowing I wanted to be a clinical psychologist till after I'd done my undergrad in human geography, after I'd worked a lot with young offenders, vulnerable children and adolescents, working with kids in kinship care. And I did a master's in adolescent psychology, master's in child and adolescent psychology to blend outdoor sports with more psychological practice. And when I did that, I met clinical psychologists who led the course. What I just loved about clinical psychology was what it does is it talks about all the theories of human change, of transformation, of understanding, suffering, and growth. Mm-hmm. But it's not about the theory, it's about the practice. It's actually about sitting down with people and trying to help people, whether they're at their worst moment in life or whether they're looking to grow. And that's what I loved about it. It wasn't some theoretical application or you were distanced from people. It was all about how does it actually work? How do you actually help people? And that's why I think I fell in love with it, because it gets to do all the interesting academic bits of understanding people and using theory. But when it comes to it, it's just about relationships. It's about sitting next to somebody or walking with somebody and working out what they need at what moment and what's going to help them. And I'm very, very privileged to say that I love my job. And every day I go to work is hard, but I genuinely enjoy what I do.
That's amazing.
But it took me a long time to find it, I suppose. That's fair to say.
Well done.
So that's why. But okay, so you said before about being on this journey of your fitness and health, and that's led you to be a PT. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine getting the balance of fitness and health is quite hard, or maybe it's not. My question to you is, how do you manage the balance between work life and your personal life, your social life?
It's really interesting. Just backing 1 second what you said about being fitness and healthy.
Yeah.
The irony of being a personal trainer sometimes is we do not always lead the most healthy lifestyles. For example, today I woke up, I started work at 6:30 in the morning. I had to be in Mill Hill 4 and it's now 2:30 and I've been non-stop. Wow. So constantly trying to prep and make sure that I've got stuff with me, because otherwise I can just go the whole day and I haven't eaten or drunk or done anything. So
stuff you mean like
food,
nutrition?
so like snacks and food and protein bars and protein, whatever it is, I just always have to make sure that I've got stuff in my car.
Okay.
Because otherwise you just go the whole day without eating anything. So that took me a while to get to that point.
Is there like a freezer box in the back of your car with like supplies?
There is now, because it's summer. In the winter it's fine. I can keep everything in there. Yeah. Yeah, and that took time to get used to that point, because you just hustle and grind and you hustle and grind. And when you're starting off as a PT, I did it for myself. I didn't go into a gym setting and got clients from there. I just got clients.
Wow. Very
blessed to be in a community that word of mouth, and I'm blessed to have done well with it. But when you're starting off, you just want to get clients, because no one's there to help you. No one's there giving you clients. What was the question?
So you
work-life balance.
Yeah. So it sounds like when you were starting out, you had to work really hard and flat out to make sure you had enough clients in the door.
Ask my friends now, they will say to you, I have no life. My work is my life.
Even today?
Even today. I think even more so today, because very blessed to have Gem and to have NG Fit and to have done really well in a very short time. And if you've never started up a new business by yourself, it is scary and it is your baby and you want to give it 110% and you want to just push and do everything that you can to make it successful. So I do try. I sit down with my husband once a week for dinner.
Wow, you guys are busy.
Friday night is my only night, because I train either clients or we've got the classes. So it's hard, but you just have to make moments and enjoy those moments, and that's where you make the memories as well. Either you go on holidays or you just, if I can go out for a walk with him, if I've got an hour's break, go for a walk. I try and see my friends as much as I can. It is not easy.
They say,
but that's life and that's work and that's business, and I know it's not healthy, and I would love to say that I can just take a step back and do, but at the moment where I am in my career, it's just not an option. But I'm 34, so hopefully in the next 5 years, I'll be able to take a step back and enjoy life a bit more. But don't get me wrong, I've had a great life. Like, we travel, it's good, life is good. We were just in Australia in January for 3 weeks. Like,
very nice. Let's
not roll out the violin just yet. But it is difficult.
And you've picked your work to be something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah. But then also, I am my own boss. So if I didn't want to take on a client at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can say no, but I don't. You don't work, you don't get paid. That's basically how it is.
So so in 5 years' time, on episode 500 and something of our podcast, we're gonna ask. Should we ask the same question again? Should we say, "How's your work-life balance?"
Shit, in 5 years' time, I'll look like I'm 50. Yeah, but no, it's hard. It is hard. Do you have that? Do you struggle with work-life balance? Because do you work for yourself?
I do a mix at the moment. I do a mix. I work for an adoption support agency some of the week, and I have then the other half of the week is all different individual contracts. And yeah, I think the work-life balance is really hard. I have to be really deliberate about it. I'm a diary kind of guy.
Yeah.
So everything's in my diary.
Oh, you should see
and if
me.
it's not in the diary, but I also include in the diary all the other bits.
Right.
So time with the kids, time with family, time with my wife, time with friends. And if it's not in the diary, I don't think it happens. It really needs to be in there.
So yours is better than mine.
My diary.
Your work-life balance.
Well, I've maybe a bit better, but it depends. It goes in waves, doesn't it? Because I also have my own businesses, and those things sometimes they just require a lot of you. And like you say, because you're fully self-employed, it requires all of you because no one else steps up.
No, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And it is that point of like, if you don't work, you don't get paid. People are like, oh, just take a holiday. And I'm like, well, I can. But if I take 2 weeks off, there's no money coming in.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard.
One of my other roles is supporting business leaders and how to find work-life balance and all those different things in life.
Great.
So let's
We'll
have a chat over a
we'll
coffee.
hire
Let's have a
you.
chat. Let's have a chat over coffee.
NG Fit will hire you. Give us some family rates. But what I did want to ask you is, what is the hardest but also most rewarding part of your job? Because getting deep and personal with people how do you, well, A, that, but B, then how do you not bring it home?
Okay. So you've asked the hardest and the most rewarding. So I think you've picked up on what the hardest bit is, which is the depth you go to people with. Yeah. So particularly being a clinical psychologist, I help people with lighter stuff and helping with growth in their business and all those things. But it also means being a clinical psychologist, you work with people at their worst moments in life, and you work with people with their biggest distress. And I have also specialized in a niche world of also specializing in recovery from trauma, or so healing from trauma.
What kind of traumatic events would people come to you for? Is it an emotional thing or a physical thing or both?
What in particular I specialize in is working with children and adolescents who've been through lots of repeated early life traumas. So trauma is a nice way to say it. Yeah. Child abuse is another way to say it. So that
must be really hard.
Yeah, and I think so one of my supervisors said something to me that always stays in my mind, and she says, you can't walk in water without getting wet. And I think the same thing is true of working with severe and enduring distress or traumatic experiences. You can't go into that experience with somebody without getting also affected by what people bring to you. So that's probably the hardest thing, is meeting people's really, the really grimy stuff, the sticky stuff. And it is kind of sticky because it sticks to you. Yeah. So I have to be very deliberate. We've talked about this before. I don't watch much TV. I don't watch thrillers. I don't watch, podcasts all about true crime and all those things, because unfortunately I see the real stuff every day or half my working week. So I see that's enough for me very much. That's the hardest bit. And because the other part of it is to truly help people in that. All my practice is build an evidence-based practice, but part of the relationship is you have to get into the despair with people. You really have to get in there, the murky stuff with people. So you can't just stand on the sidelines, really. Right. So that's the hardest bit. And the most rewarding bit was the second part. Mm-hmm. The rewarding bit is seeing progress for people. It's not seeing the end results, because I work with people's lives. I never see the end result of where someone's going to be. But I've seen the most amazing transformations for some people. And there's been a couple of people in my career where I've seen them go from really, really bad times, from suicidality and inpatient wards, to being in a much, much better place, or seeing relationships really, really improve between family members. And I can't tell you, that means so much to see people's life change. And I don't think I'm the person who makes that change. I see myself as a guide, a facilitator. I walk along people for part of their journeys. Right. So it's a real privilege. That's also the reward of being in people's very private experiences, because I'm very blessed that I get to be privy to people's very personal experiences, things that they don't share with anybody else. Yeah. And so there's lots of rewarding moments. You don't do it for the reward of the end result. You do it for the reward of those little moments, or even that I can notice with somebody where the little moment means a lot, but they haven't seen it yet. But I know they're on the right path. Something's changed for them. Yeah, it's a really great but lucky, privileged position I take. Yeah,
but hard as well.
Yeah, some days are hard, but I choose to go there. Yeah.
Do you find it easy switching off when you come home?
That's something I've learned to do over the years. Yeah, I think I've been doing this for over 10 years. I think the first 3 or 4 years, I had to work at it really hard. I found that hard. And then you learn strategies and approaches. You kind of have to put your shields on for work and then take your shields off when you come home. We're very lucky in being a psychologist, you have to have a supervisor for your practice. And lots of people don't know what that really means, because in most places a supervisor is like a management or a competency checker. You know, they're going to check, are you doing all the things you're meant to do? That's not what supervisor is in a psychologist world. What you have is I have to every month, I have to meet with someone more experienced than me and talk to them about anything that I need to about work. It's a reflective place. If I don't do it, I can't practice as a psychologist. So I have to have it. So I have a space to bring stuff every time. And they have someone they bring it to. It's just built into the profession. Yeah. And over the years, having that and learning loads of strategies about how to decompress, stress manage my own anxieties, I have to learn that. Like you say, you have to show your clients the journey you've been on, and you've gone through your personal fitness journey. I can't be a psychologist without having done the journey myself.
Right.
So I've spent many, many years of self-exploration, self-discovery, and I know myself much better than I ever have. Still, there's always a process. But I find it much easier to come now, and I don't bring things home. Very, very rarely. Sometimes. Very rarely. I could say the other stuff which we talk about a lot, the self-care stuff and the fitness and health, they're not negotiables in my industry. You can't not do them and practice well. I have to do all that stuff.
You don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice. If I don't do that stuff, if I'm not looking after myself, then I will bring stuff home and I will suffer, and my clients will suffer. So I have to practice what I preach. Otherwise, it just doesn't work, I don't think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to hold myself to high account.
That's good, though.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, that is good. And make sure I do. Okay, good enough? Yeah, deep enough?
Great answer.
There's deeper questions, but let's have a coffee or maybe a beer to go even one level deeper than that.
Yeah, give me not a beer, but yeah.
So, I mean, similarly for you, in terms of like your career then and your work-life balance, you said you're on this journey where I'm beginning to hear this direction, and because I know you and Gemma off the podcast, and I know parts of potential directions, although it's not set. How often do you reset your goals then of what you want out of fitness, health, life, career? What's that process like for you?
So I find it easier to set myself fitness goals than life goals.
Okay.
I think I struggle with setting myself life goals because I don't want to be disappointed if that doesn't happen. Whereas if I'm in the gym and I'm setting myself an easy goal, like, can I get 10 pull-ups? I'll do it because it's one thing that I can focus on and I can do it in the present. Setting a life goal is too future for me. And I think I would end up stressing about it, and it will just play on my anxiety that if I don't complete it, then I've failed. So I kind of put the life stuff to a side and I just roll with life at the moment. But fitness-wise, I'd say I reevaluate my goals every 6 to 8 weeks, just so that I can change things up and it gives me something to work towards. I like having a challenge.
Wait, just to give us a flavour, what kind of goals do you have then at the moment for your fitness?
So at the moment, I'm trying to get back into my running. Okay. So running for me was never a thing. I hated running. Like, give me heavy dumbbells any day. Tell me to go for a 15, 20K run, I'd like puke. So no. So I got into it last year. I would like drive to Regent's Park, do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So now I want to get back into it, but outside. Because I can do it on the treadmill, that's fine. But I find it harder running outside than I do in a gym and a treadmill. I think the breathing technique is different when you're running outside. Because
what do you think's different?
I just find I struggle to take in a full breath. And also, I think in the summer when it is hot and humid, if I'm not waking up at 5:36 to do a run, it's not going to happen. So by default, you just end up going to the gym. However, you know, Gemma and I did this walk a few weeks ago with our clients.
Hill with your clients.
Which was amazing. I loved it. I got home and I'm like, okay, I need something else to do. Like I had this bug to like sign up for some other challenge or something.
Have you signed up to something?
Gemma and I have signed up to something.
Can you say, or is it going to see like,
no,
just hold this space?
No, we can say it. So I called her up. I said, you're here Saturday the 5th of August. She was like, yeah, why? I was like, cool. I've just signed us up to do Mud Girl Run, right?
Mud Girl Run. It
is actually for a breast cancer charity.
Okay.
They brought it over from America. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 16 or 17 obstacles that you're basically running through mud, climbing up things. Picture, do you know Tough Mudder?
I've done a Tough Mudder.
So Tough Mudder, but scale it down a little bit and it's just full of women wearing pink tutus.
Is the pink tutu optional or no? Like,
well, not on their like very clever marketing video. And I'm like, oh, this looks so cute. It's a bunch of girls like all, and there was like little kids as well. And I'm like, they could do it, we can do it. So Jen was like, sure, yeah, pay for us, let's go. And then she looked at the video and she was like, do you realise what you signed us up for? It's like full on army, like crawling under nets, through mud. I'm so excited. So any NG Fit or any women that want to join us, message us and we will tag you and bring you into our team and we can make a really fun Saturday out of it because I'm so excited.
That'd be really cool.
I really wanted to do Tough Mudder, but I missed the entrance.
Okay.
Next year.
You could do t-shirts. NG Fit.
Yes.
The clan of NG Fit.
Yes.
The tribe of
NG Fit / Discomfort Zone.
Yeah.
Are taking over Mud Girl Run.
Mud Girl Run.
5th of August.
How far is it? Do you know like how
It's
far?
not a long.
But it's tough.
I think it's
obstacles are tough.
It must be 10k, if that.
Okay, but 10k in mud over obstacles.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you
something
see,
different.
There'll be a good before and after picture, like how we started off looking like hair's amazing, pink tutus, looking amazing. And then by the end, you look like you've just rolled in mud. I mean, literally, that's what you're doing. You're rolling in mud.
Okay, so that's the next goal.
That is the next challenge.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Sorry, challenge.
Yeah, I like setting challenges. Big main You talk about life, big main challenge that I want to set for myself. Climb Killy.
Really?
Like, beyond desperate to. On my bucket list.
Well, you've got to make it happen. No, I haven't.
Really?
No.
Oh, I thought you would have done it.
No, I've done lots of hiking around the world, but I haven't done any of the big sevens, the big summits. Or definitely not Killy. But it'd be amazing.
Before I'm 40. I've got 6 years.
You want to do it before 40?
Yeah.
Maybe we do a Discomfort Zone
a
trek at some point. We'll see if Gemma still wants to keep walking.
And if anybody wants to sponsor us to do it, we will do it for you. Yeah, no, I think we should do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got to go into the water at some point.
We talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you reset these goals resetting these goals. You've got your fitness challenges at the moment. You've got your life goals, which are just rolling.
Yeah.
Because actually didn't we speak in the podcast a couple of sessions ago about actually with bigger goals in life, they can feel like obstacles because sometimes there's almost the paradox of winning or losing at them. You know, you met your goal or you didn't meet your goal.
Well, I just feel like also you set yourself up for failure.
You can do that, can't you?
So setting yourself more realistic, smaller goals, which is what Gemma and I say to our clients the whole time. Don't start with us and think in 3 weeks' time you're going to start running a marathon. Strip it all the way back. So I find it easier to set myself smaller goals, other than Killy in 6 years' time, rather than I'm not one to be like, here's my 10-year plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, your turn. You ready?
Go.
Spending time with the vulnerable people, is it easy to not? I know we spoke about it just before, but to not let their emotions affect you, or to not, how do you draw the line of being a professional and then not taking it one step and being like a friend to them, or not wanting to just check up on them on like a Sunday and make sure they're still okay? Do you set boundaries, and how do you set the boundaries?
Okay, really good question. The couple of parts of the question. The first part of how I get affected by them, I think we started talking about this a minute ago. And there's this amazing woman called Brené Brown.
Okay.
Do you know who she is?
No.
Okay, I would definitely recommend to listening and for you, Nadiva, check her out because she was a social worker who then specialised her research in vulnerability. And she's just so charismatic, and she's a wild Texan, and she says it like it is, but she talks about the difficult things in life. And she says, and she's got this amazing video on YouTube, so have a look on YouTube, go check it out, on empathy by Brene Brown. You'll get like cartoons with her speaking at a seminar.
Okay.
The reason I'm telling you is because what she says, which I think really aligns with your question, is that she says to truly help people in this space, you have to really meet their emotions. So when she talks about what does it mean to be empathic, she said empathic is getting in someone's pit of despair, and you've got to climb down in there with them, and you've really got to be there with them. And she is absolutely right, because what it means to be vulnerable or be empathic with someone is that if somebody's having an experience of sadness, of grief, whatever they're experiencing, to be truly empathic, you have to, as a professional or as a helping person, you have to get in touch with your version of that emotion. You see, because if you get in touch with your version of that emotion, you will start being in synchrony with their emotions as well. That makes you feel like the person there, makes you feel like really trying to understand with me. And sometimes that isn't about the words, but sometimes there's someone really feeling, oh my gosh, they're really here with me right now. Sometimes I just don't know what to say. But, I don't know what to say to you right now, but I'm here with you right now. And so you have to do that. So you're right. It is a very taxing and vulnerable job to do. Your second point, how do I manage it? Many years of practice. I think it's being in a helping profession, you've got to learn the rules and the boundaries of how you do it. The boundaries are so important. I'm very boundaried, because if I don't, you're right. People think things can get unsafe for people.
Yeah.
Actually, it's safer for someone, even the person I'm helping, to know exactly where the boundaries are. So people very rarely know too much about me, because actually there's the boundaries. I'm here for you. You don't have to worry about my stuff.
Yeah.
Our sessions are usually the same time of the week, because that's when I meet you. We don't have to talk any other time. I don't really respond to people. People have a quick call. Can we just have a quick catch up? Unless there's something urgent.
Do you give out your number to them?
No, they've got my email if there's something really emergency. But I'm not an emergency service.
Right.
So again, as a psychologist, if there's an emergency, I'm going to tell people, we talk about this. They have a plan for an emergency, which isn't me. But you're right, you've got to be really boundaried. So I'm wholeheartedly me when I'm in the session, but I've no ways to be professional Matt and not friend Matt.
Right.
Because actually being friend Matt is not that helpful. Because actually if I'm with somebody and they're in their deepest, darkest distress and emotions, and we're talking about the difficult stuff, like I said, I'm going to follow them into this hole of their despair. And they need to know at all times that I'm in control and that they're in control. So part of my job is I teach people strategies in how to go into murky waters and then come back to safety. And I won't go to murky waters with people until they know themselves, they know how to swim back to safety. Wow. These are grounding strategies, stabilizing strategies, stress management strategies. They got to feel really confident that no matter where we go, you can come back, it's going to be okay. And so I'm their guide and all that. And if I feel like this doesn't feel safe, I'll bring us out, because it's not the right timing for it. And we have those conversations sometimes that it's not the right time. There's other things we can do that will help.
Yeah.
But it's a constant process of making sure the person feels safe. Safety is like number one in all the work. Yeah. But boundaries too. That's a clear thing, yeah.
It has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to.
For both of you, in part.
Yeah. So there's a small dose of what it might be like, but it's quite playful when we're actually, to be honest, when people come to sessions. I know Gemma's had that thing in the past where she said, scary to talk to a psychologist. That's when I'm working with the deepest, darkest trauma stuff, when doing things like EMDR or different versions of how you reprocess trauma, helping people make their traumatic experiences feel much easier to think about, and they don't have symptoms in the present like flashbacks and those things. But for the most part, most of our sessions are about teaching people skills. Teaching people the skills of anxiety management, stress management, what do they want out of life, how do they make their decisions about what they do in line with their personal values. Things are much lighter, conversational. For the most part, that's what things are.
Right.
If somebody wants to go somewhere else, then I will help them. But I don't take people there unless they want to go there.
And do you do your sessions face-to-face or Zoom?
Well, it's a new world now, isn't it, with things online. I do a lot of my sessions in nature.
Right.
Because I'm an outdoor therapist too. Check out Ecosensory Therapy for my approach
Plug.
yeah, with Chris West and Claire Pemrick that we've made about how to do therapy in the outdoors. But I also meet a lot of people indoors, in the clinic. Otherwise, Zoom can really work. I would have said never going to work, because the boundary as well of like, we come to the room and that's the only place we talk about this. I don't want you to talk about this in your own home, because I don't want you to think about home being associated with tricky stuff. But we had to change. We had to adapt during COVID, and now it works so well, and people find it so much easier. Because
I was going to say, I wonder if also people feel more comfortable
yeah.
being in their own surroundings, and it's just easy to just talk.
Yeah.
And also there's a barrier.
I think
You've got the computer screen or phone, whatever it is. There's a barrier between you and them, so they feel a little bit more
exactly.
relaxed.
I think it helps. There's a little bit of separation.
Yeah.
But it surprisingly works really well. And lots of what I do are evidence-based therapies. They're very specific things that I do to help. This is in the mental health side of my work. And those things, again, work very well online. They can work really well. I think meeting face-to-face can be really great as well. But for lots of people, working online works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should we do one more question each?
Okay, so my question to you. Okay, so where should we go? Okay, how about yourself? And yeah, let's go with you. And okay, so you do a lot of training. You said actually your lifestyle can mean that you do so much work. Do you find going to the gym motivating by yourself? Or would you rather be with other people, or in the company of your own home, or with Gemma? How do you find that motivation for you? And where do you find it works best?
Okay, so there's few people that I can train with, because in terms of like motivating me, like Gemma is one person that I can train with because we're on very similar levels with our fitness.
Okay.
I cannot train with my husband. I never will train with my husband. It's going to be a recipe for disaster. In case you haven't realised in the podcast that we've released, I'm very competitive.
Yes.
So if I go to the gym with my husband, it's just not going to work out. So we tend not to train together.
Okay.
I love a class. I love being pushed. I find I can push myself, but also I'm human.
Yeah.
So I will push myself 80%. I go to a class, I'll be pushed 110%. Like, I like someone shouting at me. I like a dark room. I like loud music. I like walking out of there feeling accomplished and sweaty. And I know I wouldn't be able to do that by myself. I can never train at home.
Really?
Too many distractions. Side point also, I train clients in my house. So for me, it's work.
Yep.
I need to get out of that zone and that space. If I work from home, I'm not giving it 100. It's like 50% workout.
Okay.
So A, too many distractions. B, I need to get out the house. Otherwise I'm stuck in the house all day. I don't know how people work from home.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get out. But no, I'd say definitely not home. Definitely gym.
Yeah.
And training with someone else definitely will push me more.
Okay.
Especially with Gemma, because we are very competitive.
And people shouting and screaming at you.
And people shouting and screaming at
in
me.
a dark room.
You can see where...
Some people would love it. And you're right, some people just wouldn't be their flavour, would it?
Some people find it really intimidating. Yeah. I'm like, no. And also, if I'm in a class, I'll look at everybody around me and I'll just push myself even more, because I'm like, nah. You're doing that, I'm going to go one heavier.
Wow.
Or you're sprinting on this, I'm going to sprint faster than you.
Okay. So watch out for Deeves in the gym.
Watch out.
She's going to outperform you.
Yeah. But that being said, I think if you don't have time to go to a gym, then definitely get out. And we are coming into summer and it is amazing to train outside. I have to say, I would hands down train outside in my garden versus training upstairs. If I didn't have time and only had an hour and I was go to the gym, I would train outside, and it would be the best workout I've ever done. I train all my clients outside and it is amazing. So if you can get out, even if it's just for half an hour, don't be stuck inside. Get out and do a workout outside, because it is amazing. You don't have to be in the gym. Sometimes nicer to be outside.
Love that. Get outside.
All right. Your final question, which actually...
Go on.
is similar theme to the fitness side.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those of you may not know, since we started this podcast, were you into fitness? Are you a newbie?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a newbie. You're
not a gym virgin?
I've been really passionate about sport and exercise throughout my whole life. I did a lot of martial arts, did Kung Fu and then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and climbing was my thing. I trained so much with climbing for good 8 years or so. And then I had children, and all my health and fitness just fell to the wayside.
Right.
Work and kids has taken over until pretty much we met, actually. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But prior to meeting Gemma and I,
yeah.
Were you in a gym?
No.
So you never stepped foot into a gym?
Nah, occasionally. I'm not a huge gym buff. I don't really like the gym too much.
But since meeting me,
yeah.
I mean, you've obviously met Gemma, you know Gemma. But since we've come into your life,
yeah.
do you think that we've changed your relationship and attitude towards fitness?
Oh.
Because you've been sending us stuff that you've been doing and you've been killing it.
Thank you.
Do you want to explain to people what's been going on?
I think you're right. You and Gemma really inspired me to reignite the passion that I've got for fitness. And wholeheartedly, you guys made that really exciting again for me. And I think we had lots of conversations about fitness, but nutrition as well. That was really key when we spoke about that, about small changes I could make that would really help. And so, I think that really has, I think for the last 2 months, I've really been training a lot, but in ways that feel fun. They fit in with my lifestyle. I only train at home because it fits actually well with my lifestyle. I stopped doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a couple of months ago. I put it on pause because it was from 7 till 9:30 at night.
That is late.
It's late.
That is long as well. Long and late.
It's really hard work. And I found actually I needed something better. So speaking with you two, the two things that really helped was finding a plan that worked. And then we spoke lots, and actually having a coach, I realized, was so important in our conversations. You guys give your local community a coach. And I think what I took from our conversation was I needed a local coach too. So I reached out to someone local to me who runs a calisthenics gym, Cali Club. Nigel, you're amazing.
Shout out to Nigel.
If you want to look good at 52, this man is a great example of going into your 50s, how you can look fantastic. And combine the two of, I feel like, I've got a plan. He did all my measurements, all those things at the moment you do with your tribe as well.
Yeah.
And gave me a plan that fitted in with my lifestyle, felt fun and exciting.
A realistic plan.
And realistic. Really, really achievable, but growing all the time. And I feel like in the last 2 months, I felt the fittest I felt in a very long time.
Yes.
I feel like my work is easier because I'm not in my body doesn't hurt so much. I'm stronger for sure. And definitely you and Gem are a massive part of thanks to that in terms of getting me excited about it again. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We're going to keep checking in.
Well done you, though.
Yeah?
You've kept it up.
Yep.
You haven't fallen off the wagon yet.
No, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
It's like it's really fun.
Yes.
It's really, and I think chasing the fun has been really key for me, actually, and making it achievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And having a coach. So, yeah.
3 things that you should do moving forward if you want to start fitness.
There you go. So if
fun, achievable, and a good coach. And if you're in Northwest London, Nadiva and Gemma are around for you. Definitely.
You guys were fantastic for me at that moment. And I don't live close. But if I did, I'd be recommending, I would go. I would definitely.
We would train you.
I know. And you'd push me. I know that for certain.
Oh, this was so much fun. I feel like we've taken this whole relationship to a whole new level. I know so much about you now.
I know, vice versa.
Am I an honorary Slavin? Have I made the cut?
You're always welcome. You're always welcome.
On holidays as well? Or do we draw the line at...
Holidays, work trip. Would we say like work trip come holidays would be like the mix of things? And
holidays,
exactly. For partners, it's holidays, but or work trip, but it's kind of holidays. Me too. Thank you so much for sharing everything. I hope when listening into this as well, you feel like you know us on a deeper level as well. And always send in your questions, because thank you so much for people who have sent in questions over the last couple of podcasts.
Yeah,
they really help us give back to you and make sure that this feels exactly what you want. Whether you're asking the fitness questions, whether you're asking about personal growth, about mental health, send them in because we're always lovely to hear them.
And don't forget to follow, subscribe and like. We are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we are NG Fit on Instagram and Dr. Matt Slavin on Instagram also.
Yeah.
Thanks guys.
Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.